Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and I am pixelated! Well, hopefully not on your end. I believe I can only pump out a 720p live stream. Hopefully, though, you've set notifications up on this channel and the classic Chris Pirillo one where I just live streamed the announcements of Google, or at least my commentary. You should have also received your push notification on your phone if you turned on notifications for both of the channels. I've got a lot to talk about in today's hour of the LockerGnome Daily Report, TLDR for short. Of course, we are taking super chats. If you want your question to rise up above the rest, I expect today to be a very busy day in chat. We also have the Discord chat room, which you can join right now just by becoming a patron of mine, which is very helpful. Head over to chrispirillo.com or patreon.com/chrispirillo and start supporting me there if you want. You get access to the Discord chat room 24/7, like the classic Chris Pirillo chat room. Then, if you want, you can head over to twitch.tv/chrispirillo. That link is also in the video description to become a sub of mine on Twitch. Also gain access to the very same Discord chat that's open 24/7. Plenty of ways of supporting me, plenty of ways of continuing to engage with the community beyond doing these live videos and interactivities. After today's TLDR, I'll probably be recording the podcast, likely over on Twitch. That'll be a live video, but then the video will likely get removed and you'll just have to listen to the podcast if you're not able to make it live. You can follow me on the podcast. Head over to anchor.fm/Chris Pirillo. Even call in to the podcast if you want, and then I can integrate you in the content that way. So here we go. I think we are up and running, not off and running. I'm still kind of coming down off of a keynote high, if you will. Did my tea. Still a little warm. Someone did ask, and I don't know if I answered the question directly. It was a super chat from the live Google stream this morning. Why I'm not drinking coffee. Coffee is vegan. It's just the question of whether or not it'll impact my endothelial functions in the heart and the arteries and all that stuff. That I'm not inclined to drink it as much as I have in the past. It may be a weekend treat, though. I know it'll happen. Eventually, I'll creep my way back into having a shot of espresso every day. What is your ship date on your Pixel 2 XL? I'm seeing questions, and man, there are a lot of them. Jamar Du Bois, who was also in the other video, I appreciate you joining me here as well. We have, let's see if I can find the exact date. It's quick. It's soon. Why have they already slipped? Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll get you the date, so you'll know when to tune in for the unboxings. Because it's more than. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a little dim. Let's try it. Let's bring it up just a little. Oop, other way. How's that? Am I now too bright? Not bright enough? I'm trying to adjust. This is the problem when you're doing things live and you're the only person in the room. You'll get unboxings because I've got both the Pixels. And now I'm actively searching for the sponsors. I think the Pixels will get here before the cases. The cases I ordered, and it says delivery October 21st to 23rd, which is a little odd. I should have ordered them at the same time, but I just wanted to order quick because I didn't want the devices themselves to, go that much further out. So let's see here. What do we have? Order. Okay, where is the date? Those are the cases again. Sometimes it's difficult to see exactly what Google wants you to see in that app. Do I have to jump through this again? Here we go. Sorry, it's taking me so long. I thought I'd have the date sooner. Delivery, October 19th or 20th. One of the two. So, yeah. You will get, I think, is that the soonest? Could I have gotten it any sooner? You tell me, because I haven't looked. No, I know where to look for the order stuff. It's just it was buried in trying to find it. So I think that's the earliest I could possibly get it. And they're just black. Just assume if I want a phone, it's just black. Whatever, space gray. Black. Just black. Just call it black, okay? Or just gray. Gray or black. So Aaron Williams says, Chris, I use Oreo with Pixel launchers on my OnePlus 2, and the experience is fantastic. How? I thought the Pixel launcher only worked on the Pixel. Like when I tried to get it to run on the Nexus 6P, it wouldn't work. But can I run the new Pixel? I mean, I'm going to try the new Pixel launcher. I'll give it a shake. But I am inclined to float to the old Pixel launcher as well, which was fine. I mean, from what I could see, it looked clean. It looked uncluttered. But again, I may be just as fine with the search bar at the bottom. I don't know if they can maneuver anything or change anything in the search bar. I want to change a few things with the design personally. But we'll see. I like the information at the top of the Pixel phone, specifically like your upcoming appointment and the countdown of time. That's very useful as someone who does set calendar appointments and then may need to see it at a glance, as well as the weather. I'm a huge fan of just seeing the weather outright. I would love a bigger weather icon personally, with forecast and what have you. But we'll see. We'll try. I'll try the default experience and we will go from there. Ahmed Mazouzi says, I saw the clip where you laughed hysterically at the Tech TV thing. What was the reason? I was tired. That was the reason. XDA says, Bob Santiello says, XDA has a downloadable APK file that can run on any Android phone 6.0 and up. Okay, I'm just going to tell you something. I know I can enable those things one-off. If I don't know the developer and I can't trust the developer outright, I'm not going to install an APK. I'm not big into installing apps from third-party sources that I can't validate and know that it's not going to hurt me in some way, shape, or form. So, not into it. Like, if it's not available in Google Play, not to say Google Play is perfect. They do have the Google Play Protect now, which is kind of the same thing they had before. It's just putting a nicer marketing sheen on top of it. I'm not inclined to install from third parties at all. At all. So I'm hoping that the Pixel launcher will also work on the Pixel. Not interested in the APKs indirectly. Michael Tristan, it's nice to see you again as well, because you said it's nice to see me. It's nice to see you. There are other questions, but they're like bubbling up very, very quickly. Dan McLaughlin said, looking forward to your review, Chris. Google has me excited as a former Apple consumer. Former in question marks. That's the thing. As I mentioned in the other live stream, I think Google out-Appled Apple. I'm not, surprised, I guess. It's just that Apple's just been not paying attention to what they needed to be paying attention to. What's the drum I've been beating for years? Software. Beating that drum. But what do all the other tech reviewers say? Look at this. The Chamfered Edges is class. It's got the thing here. You can touch it and it's like that. Give me good software. That makes a good phone. That makes a good computing experience. I am also I'm antsy. I'm giddy with anticipation on that Pixelbook. It theoretically will perform well. My only experience with the Google Chrome OS was years ago. It was on an old, God, it was like a knockaround device. It was like a $300 Chromebook that I think I got on review. And it was slow. It was very slow, but despite the processor speed, things were generally responsive. I'm like, for a slow system, it actually works really well. So my only experience has been on rather nasty hardware, but it was still a good experience. So I'm very much looking forward to the new Pixelbook experience. Specifically, I'm not sure how much of the pen I'm going to necessarily use, but it's an accessory. I'll try it. It's right on the screen. I've never really gotten into that. I have no idea how it's going to store with the Pixelbook because they haven't really explained that, which makes me wonder if there is an option to store it anywhere. But the hope I'd like to see is being able to, like, the Instagram app. That's kind of a little Instagram app there, or my other favorite app there on the desktop. I like that. That sounds neat to me. Because for the most part, what do I use on my iPad? I'm in Discord, or I'm in Safari browsing the web, or I'm on Facebook, or I'm on social. Instagram doesn't have an iPad app, or if I'm typing, I'm using the keyboard. So I'm serious. Like, I will probably recoup the costs dramatically by effectively finding someone that will buy my iPad Pro, or just selling it in some other way. Because I don't need both. I need one or the other. Gustavo Barbosa comes in with the first super chat. Says it'd be much easier to make the switch from iOS to Google, or from Google to iOS environment if everyone else just came along. I'm sorry. It's hard to determine because you used a little caret, an arrow, to make the switch between the two. If everyone just came along, it'd be true. It's not the belongingness, but rather the heavy community education cost related. Cheers from Rio. Wow, we got people from all over. So I think, it's interesting that the Pixel comes with that cable, and I'll be trying it. This may surprise. I will. I'm like, all right, it's worth a shot. I don't need to transfer my photos because I keep my photo libraries in sync between Google Photos and Apple's photos. In fact, I keep more photos in Google than I do on Apple. But I won't need to transfer those over. The messages I'd like to be able to transfer over, but I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be transferring the phone number outright to it. That I will determine probably within a week. For a while, I'll be carrying 2 devices. I am also interested in potentially trying Google Fi. Just to see, like, how's that experience work? It's pretty it's pretty interesting to see. It will be pretty interesting to see how that process works in terms of moving things over. I'm not as tied into, I guess, as much as Apple's services outright as some people are. Like, it's like a messaging platform is like the value add. Like, are all your friends using this messaging app or that messaging app or this messaging app? Is it only available on this platform, that platform, the other? Like, what was it, BBM, the BlackBerry Messenger? I finally downloaded it when it was on iOS, and I didn't know anybody who used it. I'm like, I don't need this. So that's less compelling for me. I just move people over. Like, people want to do something, like, no, don't use that. I don't use that. If you want to talk to me, you come over here. If you really want to talk to me, or just DM me on Twitter if we're following each other. Apart from that, just pop into a chat if you want to talk. I'll give you plenty of ways. Mohammed Bakr Rabi, are you going to buy the Pixel or the XL? Buy the Pixel or the XL? Is that what you're asking? You must be new here, or you didn't watch the Google stream. I ordered them. I ordered both. Why not both? I'm that little girl with the salsa and the chips. Like, why not both? Wasn't it it was the salsa commercial? Why not both? And then they cheered because she got both. Both. I'm going to try both. Let you know what I think. Got to let you know what I'm thinking. If I don't let you know what I'm thinking, then you don't know. That's goes without saying. But I think a lot of people in my position who are mind-numbingly frustrated with what Apple's been doing lately, and quite honestly are not even underwhelmed, just disappointed by what we see in the iPhone 10. If there is an iPhone 10 dissuader, it is likely something that Google's put together in the Pixel, whether it's the XL or the regular old Pixel 2. The innards are the same. Where it differs is probably just in battery life and specifically screen size, and also potentially software performance. I'm not going to lie. If I find that the software performance despite a smaller battery in the Pixel 2 is better, I'd be inclined to recommend it over the Pixel 2 XL. But I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take that leap to see, are there dramatic differences between those two things? And I'm not sure if I would, I could say from a distance. Some people have mentioned that, yeah, there are some issues on the larger screen on the Pixel XL with software performance. That may have been mitigated with the Snapdragon 835 processor, may have been mitigated with Android Oreo and other modifications to the Pixel. I don't know. That, again, it remains to be seen. I think I would know that right away. I haven't looked up the return policy. Not that I would expect to hold on to both, want to return one or the other, because I may intend on holding on to both of them. There may be certain trade-offs. But I'm inclined to just try them both, see which one I like, and then potentially return the one that just doesn't work as well. If there is one that doesn't work as well, if either one of them perceivably performs as admirably, and I'm not talking about necessarily in synthetic benchmarks outright, just like visually, what do I see? What am I picking up on? Then I'd be inclined to go with the Pixel 2 XL over the regular Pixel 2. It's all about the software. It's all about the software. Rocky C says, I'm extremely disappointed with Apple software lately. Just to deal with it because the Apple apps, I just can't deal with it anymore. That's what I'm saying. I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm like, I'm going, how can anybody do this? Last night, I mentioned this at the beginning of the Google stream, which if you didn't watch, you should. I mentioned that the iPhone basically seized up again. This is the second time. Before I was running the 11.0 final iOS, and it did the same thing. I'd press the buttons, try to launch apps, and I couldn't do anything. I was frozen out of the operating system. I could only do certain things. So in order to reboot to force boot an iPhone 8, you had to press volume up, volume down, real quick, up, down, and then hold on to the power button. That's how you reboot the iPhone 8 Plus. Just an FYI. Found that out. I'm like, okay, I would have been happier knowing that last night because I just went to bed. I'm like, screw it, I'm done. It's angering to me what Apple's done with iOS. Angering. Now, Rumble Force 2 says, I'm upset that Google won't be releasing Pixel XL in France. Probably get it from UK. I think it has to do with country regulations, a country's regulations. But I don't think that's Google's fault. I think Google would sell it anywhere. It's probably something to do with France's government. Most likely. That's just from what I understand about why certain electronic devices aren't released in one places or another. And Corey Moore in the Discord chat, he is a patron, mentioned that the iPhone had done this to him as well. So I'm not the only one who's had this problem specifically with the iPhone. It's really, it's maddening. Mark Brown says, Google today blew me away. What they are doing and trying to do excited me. As both a Pixel owner and an iPhone owner, Apple are seriously playing catch up. They almost seem boring. Yeah. And you are a Pixel owner. So what I've heard from a lot of Pixel owners is they've really liked their Pixels. I mean, then look at the camera. Look at DxO Labs has already published their... I was trying to view it on the iPad during the other stream. I'll get back to it soon, but the comparison shots between the Google Pixel 2 and the iPhone 8 Plus, some of them were kind of night and day. I'm like, what? I don't care if you got two lenses. Just give me one good one. That's all I want. One good one. Nature Boy asks, hey Chris, is it true that iPhones run smoother when you go up with the highest configuration model? That is not true. No. That is definitely not true. Eric Cages asks a very common question. Are you going to buy the iPhone 10? I wouldn't. Okay, the only way I'm going to get an iPhone 10 is if it shows up, which it's not going to do. That's it. I'd rather spend the money on a Pixel. Thank you very much, rather than waste my money on a 10. I don't need gigantic black nipples on my phone. Rocky C asks another super chat. Thank you again, Rocky, for that. Forgot to add the super chat in the last message. Here's more Pixel funds. You didn't need to do the super chat. I know who you are. DxO is a French company. It is. And they do a fantastic job just basically showing you the photos. Like, they don't care. Just like me, I don't care. I'm not people say, well, you're a horrible Apple fan. I'm like, I'm not an Apple fan. I'm a fan of good experiences. If Google is schooling Apple because they just grok what makes a good experience, I guess that says it all. I'll be getting the Google Home Minis. So I'll be getting two of them because I got the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel XL. I'll be getting two of those mini homes, like right there. The virtual homes. They're going to send a promo code, I guess, for them. So I'll be Google Homing. I know one will probably go in the bedroom. Another one potentially in the kitchen. Outright, like immediately. And we'll take it from there. I'm inclined to, I'm interested in that. The bigger speaker, certainly in reading reviews, there's a waiting list for it. I'm inclined to lean towards it because we don't really listen to music all that often. If we do, it's through the TV, and it's not as good as it could be. I'd get one if I knew that we would use it. So I'd be kind of leaning towards, would Diana use it regularly to say, hey Google, listen to this song, that song, the other song. Would she do it on the Mini? And if she did it on the Mini enough times, then I'm like, all right, now it's a compelling upgrade. It's compelling to go that route with that. But apart from that, we don't really do a lot of those Bluetooth. Even the Bluetooth speakers we have, Diana doesn't use, even with having the Bluetooth connection. Chat's running like crazy. By the way, for those who don't know, we do TLDR every day. So it's not just today. Every day, if you subscribe to this LockerGnome YouTube channel and you tap that notification button, you can join me for TLDR every day. You can watch even more from me every day. And now we got the podcast on top of that if you don't like looking at my face. Looking for questions. Sometimes it's not this easy. AJN European asks, Chris, are you looking forward to the Alphabet services with the Pixel ecosystem? If so, which one the most? Alphabet services being what? I am possibly compelled, depending on how a few things kind of shake out, in looking into what Nest is doing. I haven't been intrigued with the thermostat thing. I'm kind of like a set it and forget it kind of guy. I managed a lot of that stuff, and we handle that well. I'm not worried about the thermostats. That never really drew me in. But, the idea of different kinds of cameras, maybe, helpful if I, understand their security model. I like what Apple's done with its security approach to, what is it? What is the HomeKit? I like that security model. I don't know if Google's got the equivalent. I haven't found any information on it, but I'd assume it would be the same with encryption and security. If you have a direct lead on that, I'd appreciate it. I haven't looked too deeply into it. Never really got into the fancy doorbells and the fancy other things. Don't have Chromecasts outright. They didn't even announce anything in relation to a Chromecast either, did they? Not really. I didn't see anything. I mean, we just upgraded our Apple TVs, so it'd be hard. You see, again, you're out when you're out of cycles. And we didn't upgrade all of them to the 4K Apple TVs necessarily, but I don't know if that's going to be a use case for us in terms of what we would use on the TV. Like pull up, who's at the door. It's just as easy to look at your phone as it is the TV without switching sources and all that stuff. I mean, that's where it gets sloppy. Uncle Gaspacho says, don't you think you're too deep invested in the Apple ecosystem? It's very, it's incremental, right? It's not wholesale. So I'm invested in the sense that, my desktop, I'm running Mac OS, my primary laptop, Mac OS, my iPad and my tablet, I'm less invested in because I don't need it for everything that it might offer that I couldn't get from something else, like a Pixelbook. Even at the same price. So I've been feeling kind of that the iPad has just been kind of like, well, it's a nice thing to have. It's another screen. Like when I'm doing these chats, I can keep an eye on various things. But it's not what I would want it to be for its function and what I might use it for. So I'm not as deeply invested in the iPad. With iOS, yeah, it's synchronizing all the content and the apps and all that, but I don't have a lot of apps on my iPad, honestly, that I couldn't necessarily get on Android or on Chrome OS at this point. So, if I'm invested in anything, it's specifically the phone. But for what reason? Is it for the third-party apps, the primary experience that I'm no longer enjoying, or the media? Well, here's me. I play middle ground with media. Like I've used Spotify, you can listen to it anywhere. I now have Google Play because I get it with a YouTube Red subscription. I'm a huge believer in YouTube Red, which, by the way, I'll get a free year of with that Pixelbook. I'm telling you, it's like, what? Like, I love it. I love it. Kamal Aldeen comes in with a super chat, says, here's his token super chat for honestly choosing good experiences over brands. Thank you. Especially since you've invested in the Apple ecosystem. May the force be with you. May the force be with you as well. And that's the thing. You don't think I'm always going to be in your camp. We may disagree on which company's doing it, but if you can't see that Google has outpaced Apple in terms of experience, dude, they grokked it. Their whole presentation was software plus hardware plus AI. They didn't just talk about the hardware. Apple's all hardware and here's some Animoji. The software is just as much a part of the experience. It's not just about the specs of the hardware. Google out-Appled Apple. I'm going to keep going back to that. They absolutely did. There's a reason I'm excited. They talked about software. Google cares about the software experience at a level that Apple just doesn't. God, if you still want an iPhone 10 after watching that, I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, if you're a reviewer and you want it, that's on you, dude, but man, I don't even want to hold on to my iPhone 8 Plus. Honestly, I know I need to, because inevitably, when a new phone comes out, you say, well, how does it compare to the iPhone 8 Plus? Then I got to do side-by-sides. I got to say, well, the iPhone 8 Plus does this, and this camera does that, and this does this. So I need it for comparisons, if only for camera comparisons, which people appreciated when I compared cameras recently. Can't wait to do the Pixel comparison with the Pixel 2 comparison with the iPhone. Narbe Minasian does a super chat, says, Chris, thanks for your refreshing content. Thank you. Shower Boys, it's an interesting handle, and thank you for all the emoji. You were like splashing emoji left and right in the other stream. It was great. I love emoji. I'm a huge fan of emoji. Aaron Williams says, Chris, my OnePlus 2 is 3 years old and has 4 gigs of RAM and runs latest Android thanks to custom ROMs from XDA and runs very smooth. So I'm just not into custom ROMs. I know that. Well, how could you do that? I don't want to unlock my device and the bootloaders. I don't want to tweet. I just want it to work. Period. I want it to be clean. I want it to be trusted. I don't want to turn it into the Wild West. Not a fan. You don't turn to me for that. I'm not interested. I get it. I understand why it's a value to some of you, but man, you get to a certain age, you don't want to fart around with things. You just want them to work. Oi. Vicky Gillen says my iPad Pro 10.5 is my daily driver. See, that's the thing, is it's not mine. I mean, it works. It's fine. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it, but there's nothing that's really necessarily keeping me there outright. I mean, I got Google's default apps, I got Apple's default apps, I got general messaging apps, social networking apps, some entertainment apps, some Star Wars apps. Naturally, I got my own Star Wars folders, just so you know. Some games. I mean, there's this some and some other apps as well, but nothing that's just like I can't get anywhere. So I just go to the best experience I possibly can. I got to skip over a lot of these questions and jump to the super chats. Josh Frey asks, what are you going to do with your Apple Watch? I'm still wearing it, believe it or not. I wore it today. I didn't. How the hell did that happen? Oh, I jumped into something I've never jumped into before. I don't use apps on my Apple Watch, so I don't know. I'm looking for a good one. What is it? The LG. I guess now Android Wear is going all around. But I'm just looking for a clean, something like the Apple Watch that's clean and black and maybe square. Maybe I have to go around, but no logos or anything. It runs fast. Android Wear 2.0. That's affordable. If you have any recommendations, I'm looking for one. I haven't found one yet that would suit what it would mean for me to wear it on a regular basis, a daily basis, certainly. I don't know if Android Wear is there yet, so I don't know what I'm going to do with the Apple Watch outright. Maybe continue to wear it for the next little while until I find a replacement. But even then, some days I go without it and I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need to track my emotions, my calorie burnings and health necessarily. Sometimes I want to see my heart rate, certainly. So it may just turn into a heart rate monitor unless I find, like I said, an Android Wear experience that I believe is compelling and worth my time and possible review. Those are the reviews that I'm going to chase down, the ones that I believe I would want as a device. I can't chase down every product. I can't afford it. I did try to reach out to one possible sponsor, but it remains to be seen whether or not that's going to come to fruition. Rumble Force 2 comes in with a super chat. Been watching you since the live stream days. Keep up the good work. Well, this is a live stream, just not like the old live stream. Neville Littlejohn says, I saw your face light up when Star Wars was mentioned. Love the excitement on your face. Oh, I'm so excited. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll have 3D AR avatars integrated in your camera app. Boom! That is so cool. That is so cool. That's way more exciting than Animoji to me. I'm just gonna tell you. Then of course the Star Wars integration with the Google Home experience. I'm also looking forward to unlocking. All right, let's see here. Going back to the other questions. Why is Twitch going down from work? Why all streamers are using YouTube nowadays instead of what's wrong with Twitch? Nothing's wrong with Twitch. Chris, will you upload your photos on Google Photo? I do anyway. I use both of them on a regular basis, if only for redundancy. I like what Google Photo does a lot. Google Photos, I think Google Photo app on iOS in many ways is better than Apple's own Photos app on iOS. I'm just telling you, dude. That's how I feel. So I was like, well, wait a minute. So if it's a good experience here on iOS, then wouldn't it be even a more seamless experience on the Pixel? And I mentioned in the other stream, one of the reasons why I would encourage Diana possibly to float to the Pixel is specifically because of how it manages the photos automatically, magically. And you don't have to worry about storage. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. So yeah, it's a big deal for me. Making it such as a good user experience, and that's what Google's got at the center of their products. Ryan Garrity asks, "Is your Switch permanent?" I don't think anything's ever permanent. I'd hesitate to say yes, but because I don't think it's not fair. Because it'd be like me saying I'm making a permanent switch from Windows to OS 10. And as much as I did for my primary desktop computing experience, and that I intend on keeping that, because right now I don't think a Chromebook could replace what I need in a desktop experience. keep in mind, recently I've also mentioned that when the big iMac burns out, when it's done, I may be moving on from having that as a desktop just to a mobile computing, like a primary, like a MacBook. I mean, I still need to edit video. Most of the video I've edited and needed to edit, I've done on my MacBook. It's redundancy. It's like I have both, because if something happens with one, I can pick up with the other, or if I'm doing something on one, I can have something going on with the other. So it's not. It's nice to have the extra one, but I don't know if I'm necessarily going to chase that down outright. It's nothing is ever permanent, and this goes back to what was the super chat earlier. Thanks for your honestly choosing good experiences over brands. Not a lot of people want to do that or willing to do that, because you want to justify your decisions and your purchasing behaviors. But I guess I'd rather be true to myself and knowing what's going to be good for me. What am I going to enjoy? What am I going to want? What am I going to need? What am I driving for? Good pictures. Looking for a good camera. A perfect camera, one doesn't exist. But in terms of a camera that's going to give me a good shot every time, that's going to integrate well, that's going to work well, that's going to be clean. It's just going to, and it typically has been the iPhone. The Pixel, I think, ramped up the game. It wasn't until the Nexus 4 that I got interested in Android, because it was just like all the third-party overlays and like, oh, man, not for me. And they've only improved that over time. I'm telling you, dude. Google's done well this year. Stephen H. Chris, how's the battery life on the iPhone 8 Plus? Well, overnight, I left it off the charger because I was hoping that it would reboot automatically or drain battery life, because I couldn't figure out how to get it to reboot. That's why I learned the trick this morning after I got out of bed. And it dropped about 30% overnight, not really using it. So that should give you an indicator. And that's without using it overnight. That was maybe about 8 hours. Not using it. Maybe it turned on a few times for notifications, but we'll see. Narbe Misanian comes in with another super chat. Is Windows dead for the average user in the near future? Yeah, I'm inclined to believe so. And I know you're thinking, blasphemy! But it's true. Windows has not been a viable option. I know they got their creator update coming down the pike, but I'm just like, there's nothing in it for me. There's nothing Microsoft's doing with the Surface outright that's for me. I boot it up every so often to see what they've done. I'm like, it's just a cluttered mess of interfaces. It's legacy Windows on top of new Windows on top of UI, and I'm like, and then when the OEMs come in and they throw their junk on it, I'm like, which is fine. Okay, some OEM overlays are fine. I'm not slagging them. It's just that I want a clean system. I want it to look good. I want it to run well. I want it to be pretty. And I think the Surface accomplishes that from a hardware standpoint, but then it's a question of software. What's Microsoft doing that's so compelling? What's their story? Microsoft doesn't have a story. Microsoft's got their old story and their new story, and I'm like, maybe for legacy stuff, but I tell you what, I was ready to, what I saw on the Pixel, I'm like, there's my money. I'll find a sponsor for it soon. I'm hoping to find a sponsor before they actually get here, so that I can say, this was sponsored by. So that's my hope. But there's nothing that I see as a user for Windows, from my perspective, that is just drawing me in. Battlefront, I guess the beta's out today, Battlefront 2. I'm excited for that, Star Wars, hello. But I don't know which platform I'm getting it on. Probably going to be the PS4, because that's where my brother's game. But I don't boot into the PS4 all that often. We don't game a lot around here. Jedi's not old enough to be drawn into that stuff. It's a matter of what's convenient, what's easy, what's accessible. And right now I think Sony's done a pretty good job, as has Microsoft. But there's not enough that's pulling me into the Microsoft world. Just one thing maybe, but not enough, and so I'm more flexible on that front, which is to Microsoft's detriment. That's my perspective. That's what I do. That's what I use. Everyone uses something differently. So, Aaron Williams. Hey, wait a minute. Hang on. Are you the same guy? I keep seeing it every time I turn around. He's commenting. There are a lot of comments, but I see his name a lot here. Chris, have you tested Puffin browser on Android? Compare it with Safari and iOS. You'll be amazed. So were you the one on Facebook who was telling me about Puffin? I'll look into it when the Pixel gets in here. It's interesting, but I'm a big fan of just using what's on defaults. And I know you can switch default apps and everything. Brave looked like a decent browser that I'd be interested in using as a default browser on Android. Puffin looks fascinating in terms of speed, if it's responsive. If it has built-in, whether it's ad blocking or tracker blocking, I'm more interested. specifically in performance. And looking at its reviews, I can't say that a lot of people had been all that impressed with Puffin. I don't know what's going to win me over outright. It looks interesting from a distance, but I don't know. I don't have an answer to that question. I understand there's encryption between Puffin and your browsing experience, but then how does all that work? I mean, how do the sessions work? I don't know. There's too many question marks there. And the last thing I want to find out is that something's been toppled. That's too critical to be messing around with. That's what really bothers me about a lot of third-party stuff. A lot. Roger Santos asked, did they mention anything about Pixel 2 having expandable memory? They did not, so I'd assume that it does not. But that's never been a compelling thing for me, just like the headphones haven't been a compelling thing for me. Raul Madera, so excited for those Pixels to be delivered. Marked on my calendar. Wait, I gotta ask, Raul. Patron. Hey, Raul, wait, I think you're a patron, so I don't see you in Discord, necessarily, or at least not active. Are you saying for my Pixels to be delivered? You can't wait for that? Or for your Pixels to be delivered? Because I'd be curious, because you've been an iPhone user like me for all this time. That is so funny. So, yeah, actually, in the Geek Family Fun channel on YouTube, this video that we did where's full screen? Okay. This video was done by Google Photos here. So, this was around Jedi's birthday. It says, they grow up so fast. Google Photos made this. I mean, Apple Photos does this kind of, but it didn't do anything like this. They did the music and the transitions, and I was able to edit things easily and crop things around. It wasn't perfect, but I'm like, you know what? This is pretty cool. It was pretty. I'm like, that was pretty cool. That it did that. I was pretty impressed with that. Oh, come on. Hang on. Where the heck? I was trying to mute the stream because it wouldn't let me picture-in-picture on that. You still can't do that. Jeremy Caron says Brave keeps your info private. That's what I'm saying. So I don't know which is going to win, but Puffin makes me nervous. I gotta talk to a lot more people who actually know what the hell they're doing rather than just jumping into something. Did Google say anything about wireless charging on the Pixel 2? Asks Axmaster5150. They did not, so I assume it's not there. The back is not glass. But that said, I'm going to turn to Mophie. Mophie gave me inductive charging on the iPhone 7 Plus, Diana's iPhone 6 Plus, with their case. I'll be turning to them for their solution for the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL, because I assume they're going to be making cases for those, and with them comes inductive charging. So don't even ask. Don't even ask about what case I'm going to be using. I did get the basic cases for the Pixels. Because I don't know when Mophie's going to be coming out with the case, and I would feel really not good in carrying, these cases around, or these phones around without some kind of protection. Anyway. Oh, for my Pixels, Raul. Thank you for following up with that. That is hilarious. Because he set the appointment for the arrival of my Pixels. Mophie just released cases for original Pixel, so I assume they'll create one for the new gen. They just released them? Really? That surprises me it took them so long. The cases are too bulky for you? Well, here's the thing. You wish Google made a tablet? Mohammed, they just announced a Pixelbook. That is a tablet, for the most part. It's a touchscreen PC. The thing about this being thick, yeah, it's kind of jarring, but the thing is, I get more battery life. I get inductive charging, means it mounts well, and easily and cleanly on the dashboard. The only negative I have is that they don't use USB Type-C on their current range of cases. So I will be kind of angry if they don't do the same thing with the Pixel 2, because the Pixel 2 is USB-C, Pixelbook is USB-C. The nice thing is if I keep the Pixelbook and the charger here, I can charge the phone here with the Type-C connector. But again, at night, I may just plug in the case, or plug the Pixel into the case, charge up the case and the Pixel at the same time. So there, I don't know what the scenario is going to be, because I'm just done with USB micro. This is old. This is way too old, dude. Not fine with it. Not happy with it at all. Google Pixel 2 XL not having dual cameras while everyone else has it. Is it a deal breaker? No. And I'm sorry, I can't read your name. It's in Greek. To me, it's not a deal breaker. Why is it a deal breaker? I don't care how many your camera can have 14, or your phone can have 14 cameras. If it still doesn't take a better picture than a camera that has one, what's the point of having 14 cameras? If they can do something in software that works just as well as what they can do in hardware, what's the point? Yeah, I turn to software as a solution every time. Google groks that. So yeah, I'm fine with one camera. And I can't wait. One of the things I can't wait for with that in reading the DxO camera test is basically doing comparisons. And what I saw before my iPad crapped out on me and went all wonky during the live other broadcast in the Chris Pirillo YouTube channel today. I wanted to look. I wanted to do some side by sides and say, well, okay, I see what it is. Okay, that's interesting. Could I live with that? Is it perfect? No, but does it work well enough for most scenarios? Yeah. And I don't know if there's going to be. Do I want the Pixel to win in all those, or the Pixel 2 or the Pixel 2 XL? I wouldn't say I want them to win. Certainly you would want the camera that you have to be the best camera that you could possibly get. And some of the things could get improved in software as they've demonstrated in the past. It's specifically in looking demonstrably what is a better shot. Just like I compared the iPhone 7 Plus to the iPhone 8 Plus. There's iPhone 7 Plus did things better, just like sometimes the iPhone 6s did things better than I thought the iPhone 7 Plus did with the camera. Who needs bokeh? What we need is optical zoom, says Screen Playhouse LLC. I would like an optical zoom. I would like Google, if Google did anything with the software, I would like them to better improve the digital zoom, and I don't know if they can algorithmically as much. I would like an optical zoom. I would. It is nice to have. It's nice to have with dual cameras, your telephoto lens and what have you, but bokeh would be nice if it worked well. And I don't know if I feel that I've seen enough to know that it would work well in many scenarios. Michael Tristan, Chris, some people keep their phones for many years. What platform would be best for longevity? I'm worried that an Android device would not last as long as an iOS device. Well, here's the thing. Google's software has improved over time. On the Google Pixel page, it says you get at least 3 years of, updates on that particular phone, which I think for the most part is enough. If you should be upgrading your phone every 3 years for a better experience. I think that's probably the one extreme is every year. Another extreme is every 3 years. That's in my estimation, because after you start, waiting longer than that, there have been enough leapfrogs in not just speed, but certainly in the hardware functionality to justify, to warrant the hardware leap. So just look out 3 years. And I think, you can have the answer to your question. Moreover, what Apple's doing with its software strategy is dropping the ball. So yeah, you might get an update, but try running iOS 11 on an old phone. But that's none of my business. Vicky Gillen says, just signed back up for Chris's Patreon. Wasn't easy and not sure why. Well, why wasn't it easy, Vicky? I'm sorry to hear that. Patreon hasn't done a great job. I'm glad that it works, because I wouldn't have an alternative. Now, Vicky will be able to join us in Discord chat. Her name will be highlighted in orange because she's a patron. Twitch subs are highlighted in purple in the chat. I like playing with colors like that. That's kind of fun. Vadim Stetsyuk says, my phone is 4.5 years. Boy, that's extreme. Just ordered a Pixel 2 XL. It'll be an upgrade. Let me tell you. Neville Littlejohns, is this potentially the perfect marriage of UI and UX? Possibly. And that really remains to be seen. From a distance, like I said, I can judge only on limited Android experience on Oreo with the Nexus 6P and rather enjoying it. And only hearing stories of Pixel experiences and knowing that they are going to get better with more responsive hardware and, other fleshing out with Android Oreo and other optimizations. Eric Cage says, well, 2 beats 1 any day camera-wise. Remains to be seen. Like I said, take a look at that DxO page. I can't say that the photos are biased. There was one example before my iPad crapped out that showed demonstrably that the iPhone 8 Plus camera was not as good as the Pixel camera. It was painfully obvious. Like, whoa, like holy cow! I couldn't believe it. The difference was that striking. So it's got a 98 score on DxO. Makes you kind of wonder where they're going to go after 100 if they get there. The James 1576 says, love to see comparisons. And this is a super chat. Thank you, James, or the James. Love to see comparisons 10, 8 Plus, and Pixel 2. You're not likely going to get the 10 comparison from me. Because but you will likely get the 8 Plus versus the Pixel 2. That will likely happen. You may get an 8 Plus versus the Pixel, but I think it would be, given the screen size between the two, you're definitely going to see difference between the Pixel and the Pixel 2. I'll definitely be doing that. I would be inclined to just say keeping classes of phones comparable to others. So I wouldn't necessarily be able to compare to, like, let's say I don't have an iPhone 8, don't want an iPhone 8, period. But comparing that, let's say, to the lowest end Pixel 2. So yeah, you will definitely be seeing comparisons, as well as comparisons to other Android devices as I get them. Max says, I just started watching. Did you already pre-order the Pixel? You need to watch the other live stream I did in the Chris Pirillo channel, because I actually ordered it, thanks to someone in chat saying, it's up, get it now. I'm like, what? Are you kidding? I'm like, I don't see it. And I went back and like, yeah, it's there. I'm like, what? Is he kidding? And then I clicked the button. And I'm like, oh, it's refresh. I'm like, all right, I better order the phones. I guess, are they pushed back to December now? The Pixels? Are they pushed back? Is everything getting pushed back? I had to. I'm like, I can't guess. I was like, I'm in. I'm pixelated. I'm in. Someone might send you a loan of the 10. I won't take a loan of the 10. I just, God bless Apple's heart, man. It is delayed because people are ordering like crazy and they're not ready yet to ship. And I had to leave later in the presentation. Yeah, that was my biggest worry. Was that, as soon as, I'm glad I saw chat at that time, because I did not want to, if I had to wait to December to get a hold of that, oh man, it's bad enough I gotta wait to December for The Last Jedi, the next Star Wars movie. I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Okay. Let's go back to seeing if I missed anything. Another super chat. Corey Moore may get Fi just to get Pixel 2 eventually. Wait a minute. I think you can get Fi with or without Pixel 2. Or you can get the Pixel 2 with or without Fi. But if you have a Pixel 2, then you can get onto a Fi. I'm not sure if Fi is necessarily competitively priced outright, but I may end up getting Fi on one of the Pixels that I get. I don't know which one that's going to be yet, or whichever one that I choose. I will be interested in looking at the benchmarks, given that they are spec'd similarly up front, like in terms of speed and RAM. I will look at benchmarks because they may be indicative of performance. So watching Geekbench for Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL comparisons, not that I think that means everything, but wondering if that then directly translates into an actual experience. It may very well, as Rick said, Osterloh said up front, it's not about the specs. Man, Google was speaking right to me, man. I swear to God, they were talking right to me, saying, they're all the same. Smartphones are the same. They have the same hardware. They have the same features. It comes down to the experience. And he's right. It absolutely comes down to the experience. So, sorry, I'm like checking out to make sure I'm not, because I see questions that have already kind of been asked, so I don't want to re-ask them. P//MBTech, I recognize that username. Do you also think that mini clip camera is a fail? Best, Pim. No, I'll get one, and here's why. Because I think it's not just unique. It's not just a gimmick. It's that we've got a daughter. You're 3 years old, and sometimes we want to get a picture. Okay, Jedi, sit still. Okay, and then you hold up the camera, and then she gets all curious and like. But if I just set the camera down and then do something with her, I can capture those little bits, those little clips. Whether we're talking still photos out of that shot that I wouldn't have had otherwise because Diana's not around, or she would have to hold the camera perfectly and not get the angle that I want, or maybe I want to say, okay, Jedi, we're gonna go out. We're gonna go to the zoo. Are you ready to take a picture? Okay, hold up your camera. We'll take a picture of the elephant or whatever, and it can potentially become her camera once she realizes that you can't smudge peanut butter on the lens. But I really, or even in capturing moments that you couldn't get otherwise, right? It to me it's compelling. Very compelling. I'm very excited about that clip because I have a kid. If you don't have a kid, I'm not sure if it's as compelling. If you don't have a dog, if you don't have something that moves around, if you don't do a lot of those things, I can see why it wouldn't necessarily be a thing, outright. But to me, it may even be kind of that I could tell, almost like a motion detector, because I don't think there's an on-off switch necessarily. There may be. I mean, inevitably, it's going to have to charge, but it captures motion in clips that way. And it doesn't actually upload them at the same time. You basically go to your Pixel and you decide, yeah, I want to save it, I want to save it, I want to save it, I want to delete it. So yeah, that's a big deal. Pez Liz comes in with a super chat. Subservient Chris for Pixel Fund. I love cats. See, if you super chat, I basically have to do what you ask. Thanks, Liz. I love cats. Now I'm gonna have that song in my head. I love every kind of cat. Da, 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 da. I can't hug every cat. I'm gonna go watch that video now after this video. R. Bassett Jr. So when will Google ditch the Pixel projects like they have with the Nexus and other products? So my hope is they won't. My hope is that they've actually entrenched themselves in the experience, and I think they have. I think they're taking this seriously, not just with the acquisition of HTC, but with their Pixel range and with Nest. They're grokking. They were kind of poking at things, hoping to hit a home run with the Nexus. Never took off, but they've got a story. They've got a compelling set of experiences to tell. I can't tell you. I'm about as excited about Google's change of direction or modification of direction and how they're doing it, specifically with software at the heart of the experience, with AI and the hardware complementing. It tells me everything. It tells me that Google's got their head straight, where Apple doesn't. Like that to me, that's flipping the script right there. I'm impressed. And moreover, Jeremy Karen says Pixel is full in-house, unlike the Nexus line. That's true. Nexus was just a phone, and it's like, but it's not compelling. Like what, it's like a phone. It's one thing, but now it's like these speakers. So like I'm out and about. Diana's not picking up her phone because she misses it. She puts it down all the time. And I said, Diana, do you need something? Did you need oranges at the store? I could say that, and with Google Home, it would send them with Assistant. At home, it would pop up wherever those assistants are. Say, Diana, do you need oranges? Oh, yeah, Chris, I do need the oranges. Thank you. I'm glad that was there. So it's a feature that extends into usability within the life. Technology becomes the enabler, not the destination. Years I've been screaming this, and for years I'm going to say it feels like I've been largely ignored, especially if you like the way the other tech people do it, because that's not me. Technology's not my destination, man. It's an enabler. I'm going to pound that into your head. Not your head personally, but I'm just like, if you're listening to me, I'm saying it for a reason. Google now gets it. Oh, I can't tell you. It's not even vindicating. It's not that. It's just that I knew that years ago. So it's good to see Google catching up. Greg Boyko says, what do you think of the GoPro Hero 6 or Fusion? I don't think. I couldn't even tell you. Don't care. Don't think about it. It's never been for me at all. Not my thing. Detroit Borg treated that his Pixel products have been shipped already. What? He must have ordered before I did. Because that's crazy. Hang on. Let me check my messages. Oh wait, hang on. Oh crap. Give me a second. I'm not seeing anything here. No, view order. Now I'm curious. No, it just says ordered. Ships. How could it be shipping? Oh, Unbox Therapy probably has the Pixels in hand. See, I'm not so lucky. Yeah, I must have been later down on the list in terms of when it was going to ship. Boy, it shipped already? It disappoints me that other people got review units. Doesn't surprise me because I don't have much clout in the tech community. Because I bang on about software and not hardware. And people don't want to tune in for software discussions. I'm just being honest with you. It frustrates me because I believe that's where the discussion needs to be. SuperSAF TV also has it. I don't. Good for them, I guess. I mean, I'm happy for them, but Google doesn't know who the hell I am. I talk about the things I want to talk about, not the things that other people necessarily want to talk about. So Cordova asks, did you like the discontinued Zune? I miss it. I had a Zune, didn't really use it. It was like a Halo edition Zune or something like that. It was neat. But, all right, let me make sure. Yeah, no orders. Really? People got, man, I missed it by minutes then. See, that's the thing. I wish I would have, I'm almost kind of frustrated that I didn't have, I didn't have enough attention to pre-order. I'm kind of sad. He got his shipped already? I'm not jealous of the people who got review units. That's a given. Google does not know who I am, Ken Dom. I know you think they do. They don't. Because if they knew, they'd be paying attention. They're not paying attention. Simple Review says, when will you notice me? Dang it, I do notice you. Don't be sad. I'm not sad. I'm just kind of like, oh, man, I got to wait till the 17th. Everybody gets theirs now. And I'm the one banging on about software. And I'm the one... It's okay. Eventually, those other people will catch up to where I am. It's interesting. I'm seeing a few of y'all call out these other so-called tech reviewers saying, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about that? Like iOS being horrible. Oh, Detroit Borg says he checked and they haven't actually shipped. Yeah. Okay, that would make me really like, what? Like, there's no way. Jamar Du Bois says, Chris, mine comes in November. Just be happy you're not waiting another month and a half for yours. I shouldn't have gone with the Panda edition. I don't want to. Just black. 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 That's it. I'm a huge fan of that. Eric Ages. Not too late to get an iPhone 10 instead. I'll wait. Thank you very much. Neil Stapleton says, are you getting the new Daydream VR? I am not, because I'd get motion sickness. So, unless I misunderstand it, like, I've gotten motion sickness with anything that runs under 90 hertz. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was nothing that was stated about the refresh rate specifically about the VR experience on the Daydream. Am I wrong? Like, it has to be like a Vive level, like 90 hertz or greater, in order to keep me from getting sick and a headache. So I'm not going to chase that down. As much as it looks interesting and it sounds interesting, I don't need to get sick. I don't want my technology to make me sick. They need, if anything, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't talk about that as an option in terms of, screens, but the hardware would have to support it. It would have to support that VR experience at higher than a 60 hertz, but they didn't mention anything that I know of. Daydream experience is basically a barf-inducing experience at 60 frames per second, or at 60 hertz. Or is it 90 frames per second? But you still have to run at a higher refresh rate. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's a very compelling idea. I would like it as an idea. Whether or not it would actually practically work, yeah, it's even the guy that I turned to, Eddie Ringel, says, yeah, mobile VR is still a WIP, work in progress. Yeah, like, it's just, I can't do it. Boomer Dog says, thank you for retweeting me, Chris, but it's the truth. I never really noticed how crappy iOS has been until I seen your videos. I don't know, I was just a fanboy, I guess. I'm not. I'm a fanboy of good experiences. I don't care who makes them. Why do you think I love Star Wars so much? It's a good experience. And now you get it on your Pixels. So excited. Unbox Therapy got the Pixel so early, maybe because he was in a Google ad. Don't you think, Chris? Possibly. He could have been paid. I don't know. I'm not going to fault him for it. Honestly, if Google offered the Pixels on a review, I'd have done it. Because it would have saved me the hassle of doing it on my own. And a lot of money in the process. I get it. That's why I'd rather find a sponsor or continue to go to patrons and subs and super chatters. But it's just going to take a while. The more you do with me, the easier it gets. But there's only so much I can do on my own. See here, how are we doing on time? Because I don't want to. We're about close to an hour, and that's when I want to start winding things down. So maybe a time for a couple more questions. Get in your super chats if you can. In another little while, I'm going to be doing the podcast recording. So if you got any questions or things you want to say, call in on the podcast. Head over to anchor.fm. Download the Anchor app for iOS or Android. You'd follow me there. Subscribe to the podcast there, or your favorite podcast client, Chris Pirillo. Just search for that. But the only way to call in the podcast is to use the Anchor application. It's free. I'll probably be simulcasting that on Twitch, but I'll be just doing it live on Twitch, and then after it's live, I'll be deleting that stream. So the only way to effectively listen to it after the fact is to subscribe to the podcast. But of course, you can sub to me on Twitch as well. That's how I'm going to be using Twitch, kind of IRL, like a talk show. Simple Reviews. Do you think Pixel 1 still holds value at $750 for the 128 gig? In comparison, I'm not inclined to say that. For potential bumps in specs. I wouldn't buy one. I probably wouldn't buy a first-gen Pixel for at this point, unless I was handed as a review unit for like maybe $200, but that's it. We'll see how the rest of it goes. But anyway, I'm excited about how all this is coming together as we have planned. Mwah. I appreciate all the support that you've given, turning on notifications, following me from the other stream. It was very long with the announcements to today's TLDR. Hope you're able to tune into every TLDR that we do every day. That's the plan, so long as you all are there answering questions, whatever the zeitgeist is, talking about the news. TLDR, the LockerGnome Daily Report. AMA every day, Q&A with you and me. It's interactivity for at least an hour on this front. I couldn't do this without you. I certainly wouldn't be as excited to do this without you. I'm grateful that you're able to join me on this ongoing journey. It's good to know that I'm not alone, and it's good to know that potentially you're not alone. Feel free to follow me across social. As I said, taking subs on Twitch gets you access to the Discord chat 24/7. Becoming a patron on Patreon gets you access to the Discord chat 24/7. And then, of course, using Super Chat during the live stream also helps going to support these endeavors. I really do. I can't understate that enough. It's been a great day so far. I love you. I appreciate you. And may the Force be with you.